From day one, we are told who we should be, how to live, and what's acceptable. Before we even have a chance to discover ourselves, our society has already drawn those lines for us. But what happens when those lines are keeping us from knowing and embracing who we truly are? Welcome to Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox, a podcast about unpacking and unlearning everything that's kept you from living as your true self. Through honest conversations about your internal emotional landscape, sexuality, coming out later in life, relationships, and the journey to self-acceptance, we break free from the boxes we never chose. I'm joined today on the show by a woman named Buffy. Buffy reached out to me, I would say early in the summer, when she had found me on social media and reached a turning point in her coming out journey. She had recently come out to herself and then to her family. And she was working with someone who was suggesting that now it was time for her to move towards separation and divorce. And that wasn't really aligning with her. And that was where we connected. Buffy joined the Bi Life, which is a community for exploration and support, where women who are in all stages of questioning, curiosity, coming out, anywhere on their journey with their sexuality, come together and support one another along with exploration and some thought topics. So Buffy joined, and alongside joining, she decided to also take part in Unbox Your Sexuality, which is a sexuality liberation program. In the almost 6 months that I have known Buffy and been working with her, she has truly gone through what she herself calls a rebirth. She has been reborn into her gay self, and she is finally feeling freedom, not without a lot of emotional roller coaster feelings, because that goes along with this journey. So join me today and Buffy as we talk about her journey, how she got here, and where she is today. Thanks for being here. Hello, and welcome to Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox. Today, I have a guest who has been part of the Bi Life and also part of the Unbox Your Sexuality program for the last number of months, a woman I've been working with named Buffy, who is joining me. So welcome to the show, Buffy.
Thank you.
Buffy has so many interesting places to start her story, and going back, there's a religious trauma history, there's some family emotional trauma, and then there's also kind of, being in a heterosexual marriage, having 3 children, one of whom which was gay, having been part of the church, leaving the church. There's so many different places where your identity was repressed, and then also where it might have started to come up. But what you've shared with me is that really it was about 2 years ago when you really started to go through some kind of a transformation in terms of how you were experiencing yourself prior, and then going through a transformation into something different that didn't necessarily have to do with your sexuality per se. So I thought that could be a good jumping off place. So
Yes.
maybe you could share a little bit about what was happening before that transformation started to happen. Like, describe what your life was like, how you felt about yourself, like what was happening for you before the transformation.
Okay. Gosh. Before the transformation, like 2 years ago, January, I was just running through life, doing life. My husband and I had come out of the church. We were navigating our daughter and her mental health, and we have another daughter who's autistic. So we're navigating all of that and just dealing with life in general. But there was this angst in the back of my head. Always wanted to have short hair. Always, always, always. I'm a tomboy at heart, but with all of the background that I had, it just wasn't a thing. Like, girls had long hair, and you just had to have long hair. And I don't know, I can't pinpoint exactly why I decided in January that I was going to go and cut my hair off. I really can't pinpoint it. I just knew that I needed to do it. I just needed to do it. I was like coming to a point in my life where, I don't know, heading toward 50. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And it wasn't an easy process. It literally took 6 tries in a 6-week period. I went from long hair down to my chest all the way around to a bob. I looked like a Karen. Nope, that didn't work. And went through several iterations.
Yeah.
And yeah, of finally, I got to the last person and I gave her a picture and said, "This is what I want." And she looked at me and said, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she did it. And it was close to kind of what this is now. Hair grows fast and you got to cut your hair a lot more often when it's like this.
Yes.
And as she was doing it, I was literally crying in the chair. I was crying.
What tears of
Tears of, there you are. Because I could see
Mhm.
myself in the mirror as she was doing it. And I was just like, there you are. There is the person that was there all along. Like it was an identity of male, female, everything I felt inside was now presenting on the outside.
Wow.
And I cried. And from that point on is the journey of looking at myself in the mirror for the next year and figuring out what this meant.
So you were comfortable in your skin in a way, like for the first time ever.
So comfortable. I mean, and I wasn't like an immediate like turn. Obviously, it's been a 2-year period. We're almost in January, so we're almost at 2 years now of really feeling comfortable in my skin. But
Mhm.
that moment of seeing myself like this and knowing that was me. That was literally me. Like if I had been presenting like this when I was a teenager, I can't imagine the direction my life would have gone. It would have
Mm.
been completely different. Like I wouldn't have attracted the males the way that I attracted the males. It just would have been different.
Yeah. So explain just a little bit about, okay, we have our parents and they kind of decide what's going to happen with our hair when we're younger, right? But then we go to like high school age. And I just know myself, I think in
Mhm.
8th grade, I cut all my hair off really short. Then I let it grow back. Then I cut it. I've had it super short, not almost kind of like yours a couple of
Mhm.
times. And then I let it grow back. So what was it about that you just couldn't cut it? Like, what was that? Where was that coming from?
I think fear of not fitting in with my family. My mom, the expectation that she had of me to be that, female, that perfect. It was just a given. Like you might have been able to do it, but it doesn't mean that conditionally I could have done it in my mind. She wouldn't have stopped me, I guess, it was just fear of
Fear of disappointing her?
disappointing her, disappointing what I'm supposed to be. Like I'm a girl. That was just the way I was. And in my father's church, women had long hair. You couldn't paint your nails, you wear skirts. I mean, that was just the feminine way to be. And I'm a female, so I have to be feminine. It just wasn't an option. It wasn't an option in my head.
Mhm. It wasn't an option in your
It
head.
just wasn't. Just
Yeah.
like my sexuality wasn't an option in my head at that time. It was just, I did what I was told to do. I
Yeah.
did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what you learned from the religion that you grew up in.
Religion in general, but my mom wasn't religious at all either. So I had both examples, but my mom was still very highly
Okay.
feminine. So
Okay.
I guess what the
That's the
femininity, that
compulsory femininity.
compulsory femininity that
Yeah.
she fell into, you have to look a certain way. You
Yeah.
couldn't leave the house without being perfect. And while I thought that, I still internalized it. And so I did the best I could to fit that mold, even though I
Mhm.
know I didn't live up to her standards. And so cutting my hair was not and never an option. And when I did cut my hair, I thought that I'd cut off her arm. And I'm 50 now and she's 80.
So what did happen when you cut your hair off 2 years ago and she saw you?
Just, you could just tell. Like, she's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What is the point? What are you trying to get at?" But and I hadn't told her I was gay at that point.
Mhm.
I had just changed my look completely.
Yeah, you didn't know.
I didn't even know at
You
that
didn't
point that
know,
I was
yeah.
gay.
Right. Right.
Outside of, just, little things here and there that pop up. But she wasn't very kind. Let's just say she wasn't kind,
Mhm.
without making her look too bad.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. She was disapproving.
Yes. And that's what I always knew. But it took me till 50 to be able to stand up to my mom in a way that I haven't always been able to do.
Mhm.
I'm still working through that.
Yeah. 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 That stuff is intense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you looked in the mirror and you saw the you that, that's always been there. And then slowly, but then what happened? Like what then happened because at this point it was more about it's
My
kind of like
identity.
your masculine, like celebrating your masculine side because you do
Mhm.
have a masculine side, although you also, you said, have a very feminine side.
Yeah. I definitely celebrate both. I think presenting myself this way and then living through the first year of it before I kind of came out with my sexuality, I was just exploring how that felt. It even felt like how I felt about my body, how I felt about how I presented to people, how I came across to people. Like the confidence I had was growing
Mm,
um, with how I presented myself to the world. And people saw me differently in good ways and bad ways. I noticed, ways where people didn't look at me like the pretty girl that I was before. And I'm like, hmm. And I
you
we
were used to
grew
that.
up right wanting and getting that approval, right? And
Yes.
now I'm like, I don't get that anymore. It's like where do I find that now that I look this way? I'm finding that women tend to like it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's good.
So how did you start to come into the fact that, here you've been married for how many years?
Almost 30 years.
30 years. And you've had like a good marriage to somebody that you love. Yes.
Yes, yes. We've had. I mean, obviously, we've had our ups and downs,
Of
and we've
course.
everybody does. But we've been a good partnership. We've
Hmm.
always been like we've grown together. We've gone through the ups and downs of our child and her mental illness, and then the church done, basically telling us that we were sinners and we need to be kicked out, and our kid was demonized, and we always aligned together through that journey. Like there was
Hmm.
never I don't believe that you're doing it wrong. We just aligned together so that it made for a great partnership. Like
Hmm.
we just aligned together, but it's been more of like that friendship alignment as
Hmm.
opposed to, and my husband will probably say something differently. And that's where I'm like, how much do I say here? But if he ever listened, like sexually, not so much.
Hmm.
Right. But we had a great marriage and we still have a great marriage. We're
Hmm.
still married. We're still
Hmm.
navigating how that is all going to work going forward as I explore the sexuality piece of this. But like you said, like from my identity point in the first year, exploring my masculine side, but also now really appreciating my feminine side because I feel more feminine with my hair cut short than I ever felt with it long. Like
So interesting.
I've embraced my body. I didn't want my boobs before, and now, please, I need them moving forwards. I'm really glad I didn't do anything with them,
Yeah.
because I like got rid of all the female stuff. Like I was done with all of it. Like just I don't want any part of that feminine side of me. But the confidence in presenting the way I present, I don't know how to explain it, except that it makes me feel like I can understand the. I'm not trans, but the deep, deep core of who you are. And if you're not able to present that way, how it can affect who you are.
Yeah.
It is shaped me, and now I'm like rebuilding who am I. I literally put in my Facebook profile at the beginning of this year, before I knew any of this was happening to me. It said, "Who am I?"
So
That
you
was
were stepping onto this journey. I mean, you were,
who am I?
yeah.
Yeah, and that was in January of this past year when I restarted my social media because I had gotten rid of all of it because I didn't want any part of the old.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I'm just thinking back. I mean, it's a little different because it's more about sexuality and not so much about gender. But I do remember that when I was married, um, I did not want to be feminine. So similar to you, like my husband would say, we'd get dressed to like go out to a business dinner or something with his colleagues. And he would, I'd come out and I'd be wearing like jeans and a blouse or something. And he'd be like, that's
You're
what you're
gonna
going to
wear that?
wear? Yeah. And he'd be
Mine
like,
would say the same thing.
yeah. And he would say, like, could you put on something nicer? And I never wanted to really dress feminine while we were together because I didn't want him to feel attracted to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want to attract his attention.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to wear anything that was like feminine or revealing or anything like that. And what was interesting was that when I came out, I had this resurgence, but it was for like a short time where it was like pretty intense, where
Mm-hmm.
I loved being feminine and I was
Mm-hmm.
wearing like skirts and ruffle tops and I just felt like so feminine and I felt so good. It was like this celebration of my femininity.
Yeah.
And I think that's because and it was different again because it was more about like sexuality in this case. I was really about attracting, like, I love that I was attracting this woman's attention. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I could be as feminine as like, that was fine. Like if she was attracted, that was good with me, you know?
Yeah.
So I really stepped into that femininity. But then over the years, as time
Acted up.
has gone by, like I sort of slid into what I think is a little bit more of like I don't know, kind of androgynous maybe
Androgynous.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of how I feel. And it's funny because that's not about anything other than I think that's just who
Presenting.
I've always been.
Right.
But it took, some deconstructing to
Yeah.
get there of like who's attracted to what and who wants me to look how. And I've even had, girlfriends who have really been attracted to me being feminine.
Right.
So they've liked it if I wear a dress. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't know if I'm really that comfortable,
Yeah.
but okay, I'll do it because you
No.
like it and it turns you on. Where I can slide into it a little bit because I have a little bit of slide factor, But
Yeah.
anyway, I do understand that kind of,
No.
that way of like, rejecting your femininity when it feels almost like, I don't know, it's like a threat in like you're getting this attention that you don't really want and it just doesn't feel good. And I felt like dead inside. Like I was completely disembodied while I was married.
Yeah. 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 That's a good way to put it. I, I definitely, I don't know how to put it. Like you just conform and you just do, even though I felt like a fish out of water in any of those skins, those clothings,
Yep.
when I had to do this, you know, had to dress up,
Yeah. Yeah. So there's something to that. I think the freedom to be who you are and to, celebrate your body of a woman without
Hmm.
having to fit into any skin for anybody else. Like you can
No.
look like a tomboy and have like a beautiful woman's body and like that's freaking fantastic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's no like skin that you have to fit in for somebody to approve of you. You could just be fully you. Yeah.
And that's definitely where I want to be. And that's who I want to attract. I definitely don't want to attract someone that's going to ask me to be in a dress
Yeah.
to be attracted to me. If you're not attracted to me like this, then we're going to move on. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Good. I love hearing that. I mean, yes, there's always been like a lot of pain for me in watching women who are more naturally like a little bit more on the masculine side try to fem it up.
Yeah. I couldn't do that when I was heterosexual. I definitely can't do that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, it's
Yeah.
there. I wonder like in a past life if like where I was, because like it
Possibly.
enrages me. Like there's something I seriously get so triggered by it, which is weird. I'm like, why? I don't know, but I do. I really do. I've had partners from their past partners, and I've always been a little bit more of the more feminine one in my relationships. So when
Hmm.
I see my more masc girlfriends, when they were with women before me that asked them to put on a dress and heels and makeup and put their hair up, and I saw pictures of them in it, I mean, I was like enraged. It felt like they were like in drag and somebody was
Right.
like asking them to be not.
Pretending.
Yeah. I so enraged, like really. Yeah. I hear and get what you're talking about with cutting your hair and how that really, allowed you to celebrate your femininity for the first time.
Yeah. Even as I present this way, because I feel like people look at me and think I'm not feminine, but I am.
Yeah,
I
of course you
am.
are.
You
Yeah,
don't have to have long hair. You don't have to have all those things to have all the same desires as a woman.
yeah, exactly. Being a woman is not about those things. Let's just say that. That is all
Or being gay,
conditioning.
right? right? Like
Yeah. Or being
as a,
gay.
in high school, my only representation for a gay person was someone who looked like this. I didn't even think that you could be feminine and be gay.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't in my head that was you had to look a certain way to be
Yeah,
gay.
because that's what we were shown, if we saw gay
Butch.
people
Yeah,
anywhere, they were really, really butch, and that was the only representation that there was.
right. You had to, look the part and play the part. Otherwise, you can't have one or the other. I'm like,
Right.
but no, that's not how this works. Yeah, it took a while to figure that out. I personally like feminine women,
Yeah, which
know?
is interesting.
Right. I don't really want to date myself the way
Right,
I look.
there are different places where there's like butch for butch. And I definitely have talked about this on the podcast before. My scale, like when I first started dating, I was trying to figure out like who am I attracted to?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my catalyst was just like this random person that I just fell for, but that was the first person I ever fell for. So I was like, well, I don't know. Are you my type or did I just fall for you? And so I was
Right.
trying to figure all of this out. And I thought there might be some equation to it. And I really was working so hard to figure this out. But the truth is there just isn't, right? There's femme for femme. There's butch for butch. There's,
Mix.
like NB for MB. There's, M for transmasculine. Like there's everything.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's just who you're attracted to. I don't think that there's a formula. It's just who am I attracted to and who are you attracted to and who is anybody else attracted to? There's someone for everyone.
Yeah. But when you say you're attracted to feminine women, you're only attracted to feminine women.
I feel like I lean toward that. I mean,
Okay.
I do lean into someone's personality
Mhm.
and who they are as a person. But like my like physical attraction seems to be someone that's a little more feminine, but more on the, I guess you would say, tomboyish feminine side,
Okay. Okay. So we're
like
not talking about
androgynous.
like
Like we're not
long
talking like,
hair, makeup, heels.
yeah, I don't want someone that's going to take 12 hours to get ready. I want them to be more on my speed. But I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's great. But I don't know. It's traumatic to see that because my mom literally took like 2 hours in the morning to get ready, and I just can't. I don't know why it's a turn
I have a
off.
hard time with it too. My
Yeah.
mom also wouldn't. My mom, she wouldn't even go get the mail outside without
No,
having.
no.
And my mom was like gorgeous. So I have a preference for women, no makeup. And whenever I date, if they come with makeup on, I'm like, like
Yeah.
I want to tell people like when you come on the date, don't put on any makeup,
I want to see you all in the natural.
I just really don't like makeup. And I get it. It's like dramatic and it certainly could be used for many things, but I like natural,
Yeah.
like I want like organic and natural. I don't need like products and like, oh God, no. Yeah, I
No,
really,
never seems like a lot of work to me. But I mean, like you said before in some other podcasts I've heard, it's like if that's how they feel beautiful, then that's totally fine because
yeah,
there's
good
someone
for
for
them.
everyone, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
but but that's just not what it does it for me. So
Okay. So I was
yeah,
just curious about that when you
yeah,
said you're attracted to feminine women, what
yeah.
exactly that meant. Okay. So I'm curious. So as you just saw yourself as this more masculine presenting, but feeling all your femininity person, how did the sexuality piece pop up out of that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And once again, like I don't know what the catalyst was for me to go and outside of it just playing a loop in my head of this is what I've been wanting to do for years. Same with my sexuality. It's not like while it wasn't conscious, there were glimmers of it through the years. And then my daughter coming out at 14, which was 10 years ago.
Okay. So you were 40.
Yeah, I think it's 13 years ago, actually, because she was 14 when she came out.
Okay.
So I was like 37 ish.
Uh-huh.
And just that journey of her coming out and watching her bloom. And she went through the iterations of shaving her head to being the very androgynous feminine person that she is now. She doesn't do a lot of makeup. She's a gorgeous girl.
Mm-hmm.
She
I
has a
saw
wife
her
now.
picture. She's beautiful. Yeah.
But she doesn't like that either because it pulls in the men.
Right. I know.
So she has gone through different levels of, trying to suppress that too,
Yeah.
even though she could have and she was sought off by modeling agencies. But she didn't want that because
Yeah.
it attracted too much
Yeah.
male,
Male
you
attention.
know,
Yeah.
even though she's like a lesbian to the gold star, that she tells me that's what that means.
Yes. Never having been with a man is a gold star. Yeah. 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 You,
So I think just the level of like watching myself all year, building this confidence. And then my father-in-law passed away early last year, and not, he actually died on Halloween. And me and him were really close. And he talked about some things before he passed away. And that catalyst of that happening and being his true self, which he never really got around to saying. And then me thinking about who I truly was. And then I started helping my mother-in-law with his passing, and I was spending a lot of time up there and just reflecting and just spending a lot of time in my head. And I honestly was getting really depressed. And in January, I wrote something to myself in my notes that I've shared with a few people that was pretty dark. Like I was going somewhere that I really have never gone before. Like if I can't be a true, authentic self, I felt like I was a fraud. I wrote in my notes, I said, "You're a fraud. You don't need to be here anymore. There's no point in being here if you're just going to be a fraud your whole life." And from that point on, the angst, I didn't, and even at that point, I didn't even know it was like my sexuality that I was trying to figure out, like, what is wrong with me? Why am I here in this dark place? Then, without saying too much, because I forgot to ask my daughter's permission, but she went through a really, really hard time, and watching that experience, it came to a head. I took a mental health leave from work to deal with that situation, and I was like, "You can't keep hiding. You can't keep doing this." And I started. That's when I started therapy.
okay. So that's a year ago,
So that was in January
January. Right. So
this
it's not
year.
even a year ago. Right.
Not even a
Less
year
than a year.
ago. And this
Okay.
was March that, the incident happened with my daughter. And we, it really threw our whole family through a really hard time and just figuring out what's really important in life. And that's when I took the leave and went to counseling. And I thought I was going to deal with my daughter, right? Like, I'm going to go deal with my daughter and how to handle, the stress of what happened. And I even said when I went into counseling, because I look the way I do, I was like, "I'm not gay. I'm not here to leave my husband." And she just said, "Okay, well, we'll unpack that another day," you know. And we
Interesting.
proceeded to talk about my daughter and all the things, and we talked about her, coming out, and me supporting her and being there for her. And somewhere in the conversation, not probably a month later, I was literally sitting on her couch telling her that I'm a lesbian.
Okay. So it was pretty quick. It was at the surface. You just needed a
It was at
place.
the surface. I just needed a safe place to say
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I didn't feel safe. And not that I didn't feel safe at home. I didn't think that my husband would not. I mean, he was clueless. I just didn't feel safe. I don't know. I just like, if I say this, my whole life's going to change. And that was scary because I was so comfortable. My husband made our life very comfortable, and like, if I say this, is he going to kick me out? Am I going to be tossed to the side? Your brain tells you all kinds of crazy. My therapist said you
That
catastrophize,
happens. And it happens.
everything. And it does happen,
Yes.
So it was very scary, but that's not what happened. Once we talked through another month of how are you going to come out to your husband, my mother-in-law ended up moving into the house, and it was getting very uncomfortable
Oh my
and
gosh.
very tense. And I was getting very angry because I had this knowledge that I couldn't say
Oh my God,
because I
the
was too scared.
timing.
The
Yeah.
timing was awful. And I think I actually came out to my daughter first. She was, through the crisis, and she was the first person I told my truth to. And of course, she was obviously open arms, crying. She looked at me and said, "So are you coming out to me?" I'm like, "I think so."
Aw.
It was beautiful. And then her wife shortly after, because obviously they're a team and I love them both with every piece of me. And just through that journey, I ended up telling my husband, and he, while was somewhat surprised, he took it better than I thought he was going to take it. He's a very open, understanding person. And we've had ups and downs. We've had anger, as his
Yeah.
emotions are processing what this really means for him,
Yes, human.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
wouldn't? I mean,
Valid. Totally valid.
uh, but it's been at least right than some.
Yeah.
I've been given a lifeline to be able to explore and be myself and do what I need to do to figure out where we go. I mean, he doesn't want to lose me, but at the same time, he wants me to be who I am
Mm-hmm.
in every way. Like he's always been supportive of our daughter, and I knew that he, wasn't that kind of a person, but you still catastrophize everything. Women, we just do that.
It's scary. It's scary.
It is.
I mean, this is scary for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a good journey so far. And I mean, we were even to the point of talking about ethical non-monogamy and lavender marriages and what that could look like, and can we stay in the safety of this and I still be who I want to be, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can readdress if I meet someone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking to like dive into something right now.
Yeah.
I want to know who I am. I want to explore people? Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't want anything like serious.
Yeah. I mean, it's exploring people and it's also exploring yourself,
Right.
right?
But then I feel bad about that because, like, am I using people to explore myself? But I guess if you're honest and upfront about where you are and who you're, you know, then it should be okay, right?
Yeah. I just had this conversation, which is going to be on this week's podcast with
Hmm.
somebody, and she had the same feeling, though she identifies, I don't know what she identifies as, I'm not sure, but has lived as a straight woman.
Hmm.
Yeah. She's, never dated a woman. She's had sexual encounters with many women, but she's never dated a woman.
Oh,
And I was saying, have you ever gone to like a lesbian bar? And, because I mean, she's curious, like she's interested and she's never going to date another man. Like that's clear with this woman.
yeah,
So she
same.
said,
I
yeah,
feel her.
right, exactly.
Right.
So she said, I feel I love women. Like I love women. Like I'd feel really bad going to a bar to like pick up a woman so I could have an experience with her,
Hmm.
because that feels like what a dude would do basically.
Right. Right.
And
You
I
don't
said
want
to
to use
her,
them.
right, exactly. And I said, like, look, there's also like having a conversation about where you are and that you're interested in exploring. And then the other person gets to choose. Is this something they would like to engage in, or does that feel kind of dangerous to them? They
Right.
get to decide. So
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh, I never thought of that before." It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can have the conversation.
I think the whole communicating through like being heterosexual and not doing the communication thing very well, you realize that the
It's a
key
whole
to
learning
anything
curve. Yeah.
is actually communicating.
Yes. The key to everything is communicating.
I
Yes.
mean, even communicating with my husband now, like it's so much better now that I'm out and now that that burden is lifted from me, that I can be who I am and I don't feel like I'm hiding myself. So little by little, I'm giving him more of me because of what's happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's good or bad because he's like, he really is enjoying this,
Yeah.
openness and communication. And it's like, it draws him even closer to me,
Yeah.
but yet it's even drawing me even close to him too, but in a different way,
Emotionally.
emotionally. Right.
Yeah.
But, him is sexual and emotional. Mine is just emotional. So we have to
Right.
like navigate that.
Yes. Which is tough. I mean, it's definitely something to navigate. It's not
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's been 30 years. So I'm very comfortable with him. So it's.
Yeah. I mean, I love the place of nuance that you've found yourself. Would it be okay for me to talk about like what the like the moment where you and I came together?
You can remind me because, I don't
Yeah,
remember anything.
sure. Okay. So I think it was sometime this summer, and I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly when I
It's
had.
June or June? June,
It
maybe?
was like June, maybe. Yeah, because July was when the By Life started. So it was
Mhm.
sometime in June. You, I think, responded to a post that I had. And then we hopped on a Zoom and you were sharing how you had recently come out. I was a couple of months at that point, and you had been in therapy, and that you also had been working with another coach,
Mhm.
and that you came to this point where like you had come out to your husband, which was really hard. And that the person you were working with had been saying, now it's time to leave your husband, or like, now it's time to start moving towards separation. And that for you was kind of like, wait a sec, I'm not ready for that. Right. Which makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I just definitely didn't feel like I was aligning with the goals of that coach. I mean, that might be good for some, but it just didn't feel and sit right with me. I needed more time,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, this is like such a journey and such a process. So I
and it was
love
very early on.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah, you had just come out. So that was where you and I met.
Hmm.
And then I think you started doing the By Life and and then you started doing the program and
Yes.
slowly kind of unboxing yourself from the history and all of
And
that.
learning all those terms. I didn't even know what ethical non-monogamy was, or
Yep.
the options you had within the space of what this could look like, or, compulsory heterosexuality and
Compulsory femininity
femininity.
or internalized homophobia or internalized
I
misogyny.
internalized homophobia. I had never heard of that. Like,
Yeah.
I have internalized homophobia.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And I needed to
everyone
process
does.
all of that before I could make any life decisions.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. So, I mean, I love that. I mean, it was such good timing that we came
Yeah,
together.
it was great timing. It
Yeah.
was like,
I'm
yeah,
so
your
glad.
TikTok came across and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been great watching you navigate this in such a very nuanced, not black and white way.
Yeah,
Where one day you're feeling one thing and the next day you're feeling something completely different, and you're riding the waves and
it's
you're
a roller
letting
coaster.
yourself feel. It's a roller coaster. I always say this is not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
And a big part of it is allowing yourself to feel the feelings. And there's also a lot of grieving that
Yes,
happens.
yes,
So yeah, so it's like, if you're someone who like doesn't do emotions, this is
which
going
I
to be
don't.
really hard. Right. You
Yeah,
haven't, but you're starting to.
I'm starting
Definitely.
to. It's between my therapist and you and the unboxing program, and having to sit with myself and
Yeah.
feel those feelings and really dive into where they feel in my body
Yep.
and putting words to them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, but because I don't think I really ever really processed emotions as a kid. I just got through them.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely helped me be more clear on the direction I want to go and who I want to be with, and how to even deal with my husband and all of his emotions, even though I can't deal with his emotions.
Yeah, but you could be, understanding and just at least
Understanding.
validate that, like,
Right.
yeah, like this is what you're feeling and that's valid. I can't solve that for you. I can't fix that for you. I can't make you feel a different way, but
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the whole people pleasing thing, and working through
Yep.
that module, and
Yeah. Mind
definitely
blowing. Yeah.
mm, like my whole life has been just making decisions to please other people.
Yes.
And that's what got me here to 50 years old and just now figuring out I'm gay, and I like to present it the way I present.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so much beauty in it,
There's
and
so
there's so
much,
much authenticity in it, and also there's grief in it, right?
so
Because
much.
arriving to 50 and finally being able to be who you are is also like, oh, well, then what was I doing for those 50 years? And so
What
there's
was I
loss.
doing?
Yeah, there's loss. And you were doing a lot of things, you were doing a
I
lot of things
was,
that you were supposed to do.
yeah,
But
raising three great girls,
yeah, yeah,
amazing, and I've been able to shape them into the path of be you.
yes, which
And I
is
can at
so
least say,
amazing.
yeah, I've at least I can say that I've accomplished that. I mean, they struggle like anybody else, but
Yes,
they're not struggling in the ways that I struggled.
that's right.
So I
Yeah.
can,
So
yeah.
huge accomplishment, huge accomplishment.
But yeah, I did. I could agree with the fact that I couldn't look like this at 16 and date the soccer girls that I probably would have
Yeah. Yeah.
had I realized what was going on in my head. But I
Yeah.
also wouldn't have my kids.
Yeah, it's so complicated, right? When you start to think
It's,
about it.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
so complicated because I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I went I think it was like around this time, I think it was November last year. I went to see an artist named Fletcher, who's like a lesbian. She's been a lesbian singer forever, and now she's dating a man for the first time. So everybody's up in arms. Everybody's like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, she's bisexual. She's not a lesbian." But anyway, I went to her concert at Radio City Music Hall, and I go to concerts by myself all the time because if I love the artist and a friend doesn't know them, I don't get the same
Doesn't
joy.
fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get the same joy. So I go by myself so I could just dance and sing and whatever. So I went to this concert, and the whole Radio City was sold out with lesbians. Like it was just all lesbians, the entire thing sold out. And they all knew every single word to every single song.
Really?
And yeah, I was
I
just
must not be lesbian then. I need to learn.
oh my gosh. Well, it's like what it is like it's her songs. So she's probably close to 40 now, but her songs are like her 20s probably and like early 30s of the lesbian relationships and the drama that happened and
Okay.
like the intense feelings and the like breakups and now your girlfriend's dating somebody else and like you see them at the bar. Like it's all this kind of music.
Okay.
And so it's like really emotional, like really traumatic and really emotional, but so good. Like I love that stuff. I don't know why. I think it's because I missed out on it, But
Yeah.
I went to the concert and like, I think I was the oldest person. I might have been the oldest person there, which is not uncommon, but it was like in a sea of lesbians. I was the oldest lesbian there. So I thought, and it made me so sad. Like when I got home, I just felt so sad that
Yeah.
like
Whole part of your life. Yeah.
whole part of my life. And these young, I mean, first of all, when I was these women's
Right.
ages that were there, that were in their 20s or 30s, there was no Fletcher. So I would never have had that representation. So
No.
I felt on one hand, like so happy for them that they had like this amazing singer songwriter that could express all of their experiences in music. But then I felt so sad for myself that I never had those experiences. I mean, I didn't have the singer songwriter then, and I never had the experiences because I thought I was straight then. So, yeah. So, I mean, I came out when I was 32. So, I mean, I was young,
Yeah.
but I was a
Lucky
mom
you.
of 3. Yeah, but I was a
But
mom of
you already had 3
3.
kids, so
Yeah.
you've already had the
I lived a very, relatively heteronormative life. I never went into the culture of lesbianism because I had 3 kids to take care of and I had to build a career and I had a lot to do.
you had school to deal with.
Yeah, I had like my school and their school and
Yeah. Just not
building
going
a
to the lesbian
practice
bar.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't go to the lesbian bars. I didn't do any of it. So, it's like interesting how the grief does kind of come and sneak up wherever when you're a late bloomer, whether you're 50 or you're 70 or you're 32 when you come out, if you've lived this heteronormative life, it still comes. When you don't even expect it, it still comes,
Yeah. When I'm introducing myself to someone, I'll automatically say Elizabeth. And I don't know if people know my name is Elizabeth, but I go by Buffy, that I feel more comfortable being called Buffy. That's a nickname from childhood. My parents call me Buffy. It's not something I just made up. Felt very comfortable. My husband, when I got married at 20, he said, "Your name is Elizabeth." I'm like, "Okay, call me Elizabeth if you want to. I don't care." I should have cared, but I didn't at the moment. And became Elizabeth. And that fit the feminine, I think,
Interesting. Yeah.
person that he wanted. And so I played the role.
Ma-
So when I automatically go to Elizabeth, it's still so ingrained that I'm still working through. And I get scared almost. I almost feel like a little bit of a, is it safe to say Buffy? Or are they going to like, well, that's weird. Why do you want to be called Buffy? You're 50. But it feels so comfortable in me.
Yeah.
So why don't I feel comfortable telling people Buffy as opposed to Elizabeth? I'm still working through that.
Yeah.
It's still a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly something internal with you,
Yeah.
and what this Buffy means to you. Because I don't think anybody on the outside would have any reaction if you just said you're Buffy.
Right.
Like,
It's all in
that's
my head.
Buffy. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. So
But
I don't know. Like
whether
I'm
it's,
supposed to act a certain way if I'm Elizabeth, and I'm supposed to act a certain way if I'm a Buffy. I don't know. In my head, it seems like there's a difference.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like when your husband said you are now going to be Elizabeth, there was like a clear break and like Buffy got left back there.
Mm-hmm.
And, and this is not uncommon. When we come out later in life, we realize that we left ourselves back somewhere a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
We're in the dark.
Buffy's kind of like the younger you
That never got to explore.
and never got to express and never got to be herself. And so when you say Buffy now, it's almost as if, you think other people can see all of that somehow or
Right.
know all of that, but nobody
And they
knows
don't.
any of it. But
Yeah.
you feel that. You feel
Yeah.
it's almost like painful in a way to,
It's like there's that 30-year gap of
yes,
that I just suppressed Buffy,
yes,
and I want to go back to 18, 19 and be able to explore her.
yes,
And
yeah,
I do feel very young.
Yeah.
I have gotten a burst of energy. Like I thought I
Yeah.
was dead. Like I'm going into 50 thinking I'm dead. And even my husband has said, like, you've got so much to look forward to now. You've got this whole new life and people to explore. I'm just here. I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, you can, but he doesn't want to. And he'll come to that conclusion when he needs to. But for me, the energy
Yes.
and the life I feel like I'm creating and going into, I'm so excited.
Yeah. I call it it's like a second adolescence.
Yeah, completely.
You go right back to being an adolescent and you're starting
Puberty.
right up from there.
Going through puberty from
Totally.
feeling more sexual to, like, I talk about sexual suppression, like 30 years of sexual suppression. And then the minute you say you're a lesbian, and then all of a sudden I can talk about sex with anybody.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
would never talk about sex before.
Yeah. I love
Ever.
that. Oh my God. So good.
I'm like, all of a sudden, like, why did that change? Like, what made that change? Like, how, and when people say it's not that important, don't shove it in my face. It is that important.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so important.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that me telling myself I'm gay and I love women, that's not important, or that I need to present this way. That's not important. It's everything. I'm sorry. It is. If you don't like
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I've heard that same, it's not that important. It's not that important. And look, again, it's like people can celebrate whatever they celebrate and certain things are important to some people, certain things are not important. It's like, is that really your feeling? Are you repressing that because it's what you learned? Is it just too complicated because you're not in a relationship where you can do anything to improve it, or you don't have a partner that's willing to? Are you just so disconnected from your sexuality? Are you deeply conditioned? Like there's a million questions that can come up with why is this not that important?
Right.
But I hear that a lot. And also, I think, I don't know. I just respect if somebody says that that's not that important to them, it's like, okay, that's go forth, with that not being important to you. To me, it's really important, but that's okay. I'm not going to try to change your mind on that, if that's
right. I know
right.
what it's done for me. That's all that matters. It's, I'm a new person. You want to talk about the religion and becoming a new person. Coming out as gay has been my rebirth.
I love it. I love it. Yep.
I don't need a God to rebirth me.
No, you don't.
My gayness did that.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. That's a great place to end.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So good. Yeah. So good. Well, thank you for sharing your story and your journey and everything with my audience. And I'm so super, super happy for you that you are very firmly on your path to authenticity and what feels so aligned with Buffy and,
definitely
doing all the hard work that goes with it because,
there's that too.
It's like, we could also come out and not do the work. And it's like, I don't know. I think that,
no,
yeah,
we need to be the best version of ourselves going
there's
forward.
There's so much to unlearn. There's just so much to unlearn. So thank you. Thank you for being
You're
here.
welcome. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you for spending this time with me on Unbox Yourself with Samantha Fox. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more folks find these conversations. If you're ready to unbox from something that's keeping you stuck, I would love to support you. You can find the application to the show at unboxyoursexuality.com. Let's stay connected. Find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Lesbian Curiosity Coach. Give me a follow and join the conversation. Remember, we only have this one time through. Why not unbox yourself and let your true self shine in all its beautiful glory?